This year's Ballon d'Or brought some remarkable surprises. Some players made it into the top 10 despite underwhelming performances, while others, despite being legends in the football world, were conspicuously absent. In today's episode, we review all the surprises and controversial decisions and reveal those who ended up in almost unbelievable positions. Hello my friend, and welcome to your channel, BePart Sports. The Ballon d'Or ceremony was full of unexpected moments. Some outcomes made sense, while others were hard to comprehend. For instance, Ousmane Dembélé winning the Ballon d'Or was highly logical and indeed well-deserved. Naturally, any player among Dembélé, Yamal, Rafinha, or Pedri could have claimed it. Logic prevailed, especially after the exceptional seasons these four had last year. But, Captain, there are other matters just as significant, issues we must pause to discuss, perhaps even more important than who ultimately lifted the Ballon d'Or itself. Lamine Yamal, for example, claimed the Young Player of the Year award for the second consecutive year. He certainly deserved it. As for finishing second, it was a fair outcome. Yet, he could very well have ended up third had the player we will discuss shortly secured second place. First, let's talk about the overall rankings. Michael Olise sits at 30th, Wirtz at 29th, Van Dijk at 28th, Rice at 27th, and Haaland at 26th. Among these five, I believe Michael Olise and Van Dijk were seriously underrated. Both achieved titles with their teams, and it would have been reasonable for them to occupy higher positions at the very least. Donny Vries was placed 25th, Fabian Ruiz 24th, Jude Bellingham 23rd, McAllister 22nd, and Gvardiol 21st. But this raises a question. How can players like Fabian Ruiz, Donny Vries, or even McAllister be ranked lower than Gvardiol? We can all agree that Bellingham did not deliver his best this season. Yet Fabian Ruiz was among the standout performers for his team, leaving a clear mark on Paris Saint-Germain's clean sweep of titles. Speaking of Lautaro, he came in 20th. But what if Inter Milan had won the Champions League final? Would his ranking have jumped into the top 3 just because of a single victory? Can one match truly determine a player's position over an entire season? That, in itself, is unfair. Next, we have Navas in 19th, McTominay in 18th, Lewandowski in 17th, and Vinicius in 16th. Personally, I've been one of Lewandowski's critics. Yet it's illogical that a player of his age, who has amassed such achievements, won numerous titles, and scored an impressive number of goals, should finish 17th, while Vinicius, who significantly dropped in form last season, ranks 16th. Frankly, this makes no sense. The truth is, the rankings are neither logical nor fair. As for Mbappé, he delivered an extraordinary season last year, with numbers that were nothing short of phenomenal. Naturally, he deserves to be in the top 5. But Vinicius? There's no way he should be ahead of Lewa, especially if we only consider last season. And let's not forget his statement after the Ballon d'Or ceremony, which Rodri won. "You are not ready for what I will deliver. What I will achieve will be 10 times more than I have done before." Yet the reality was the opposite. His performance noticeably declined. And now we move on to the 15th position. Or, if you prefer, to 5 ranks brimming with absurdities. Victor Gyökeres comes in at 15th, yet later he was crowned the world's best forward. So how is it conceivable that the world's best striker, according to the vote, does not make the top 10 and instead lands in 15th place? Ahead of him were Désiré Doué in 14th, Harry Kane in 13th, Kvaratskhelia in 12th, and Pedri in 11th. Here, allow me a moment of silence, out of respect for the voters. But honestly, it's tragic. Logic refuses it, reason rejects it, and even a madman would not accept seeing Pedri outside the top 10, or even the top 5, after what he delivered last season. Frankly, I ask myself, do those who voted for this award possess the same minds and eyes as the rest of humanity? Forget your allegiance. Whether you are a Madridista, a Barca fan, or support any other club in the world, as a football fan, you cannot deny that Pedri, at the very least, deserved to be among the top 5 contenders for the Ballon d'Or, especially considering his performance last season. And yet, he finishes 11th? Then what are the criteria? Why is Pedri in this position? It is shameful, unfortunate, and controversial. So, what more could Pedri have done last season to secure a higher rank? Captain, I don't even know how to put it. But the truth is, Pedri outperformed every midfielder in the world last season, even Vinicius. And here, we are talking about numbers, not team trophies. So what exactly are the criteria for this award? Let's leave Pedri aside for now and move on together to the top 10. Nuno Mendes comes in at 10th and Donnarumma at 9th. Now, the real farce captain is Cole Palmer at 8th. Imagine that. Cole Palmer, who spent half the season injured and the other half far from his best, only shining at the Club World Cup, yet he ranks 8th. Meanwhile, Pedri sits in 11th. How does that make sense? Mbappe claimed 7th and Achraf Hakimi 6th. And here comes the real shocker, Rafinha in 5th. And who precedes him? Mohamed Salah, Lamine Yamal, and topping it all, Ousmane Dembélé. Look, Captain, what happened at the ceremony today? If there's one thing to take away, it's that the Ballon d'Or criteria are utterly unclear. To be precise, I see it as a rather trivial award because it has no understandable standards and its credibility is impossible to ascertain. Let me give you a summary of my perspective. If this award were based solely on individual performance, irrespective of results or trophies, then from 2008 to 2022, no one truly deserved it except Lionel Messi, no matter who the competition was. And with all due respect to everyone, some people would ask, what about Cristiano? What about Modric? What about Benzema? What about Iniesta? What about Neymar? I would tell them then, all of these players deserve recognition, or even a Ballon d'Or. But if the award is based purely on individual performance, the difference is clear. If, however, it depends on team achievements, the criteria shift entirely and the credibility becomes highly questionable over many years because some players who did not win collective trophies still received the Ballon d'Or at the expense of others. For me, the standard of the best player in the world is an individual who, on their own, can be the best, through their influence on the pitch and the level of performance that no one else can match. From 2008 to 2022, in my view, no player ever reached Messi's level on any given day. Everyone competed and everyone deserves respect, but this does not diminish them. It elevates Messi because he is simply incomparable. What are the criteria? A year ago, Rodri won the award, and no one understood the standards back then. Vinicius had an exceptional season, and we said whether Rodri or Vinicius wins, both deserve it. This year, if Ousmane Dembélé, Lamine Yamal, or Rafinha were to win, all three would deserve the award. But to tell me that Rafinha came 5th, here we need to pause and reconsider. If we judge purely on individual performance, Rafinha had an outstanding season. And if we consider team achievements, Rafinha also won several trophies. So why is he 5th? And why is Lamine Yamal 2nd when they play for the same team? What are the points and how are they calculated? Some might think I am against Hakimi earning a high ranking. No, I would happily see him in first place. The point is to highlight that the award is unclear and the ranking criteria are opaque. No matter which player you support or back, you must ask yourself, are you convinced that Pedri is 11th and Cole Palmer is ranked based on last season? Are you convinced that Rafinha is 5th? Looking at individual statistics, Rafinha comes 2nd, not Lamine Yamal. From a team perspective, the top 3 spots should go to Paris. But in terms of individual performance and impact on the pitch, Lamine Yamal deserves to win. And if we consider flair and magic on the pitch, Pedri is the rightful recipient. So, the criteria are unclear. Everyone will apply the standard they see fit, and everyone will choose the player who aligns with their preferences or inclinations. But this is my personal opinion. As for you, share your thoughts in the comments so we can see them together.